I wanted to make a kind of a tutorial or how-to for the homeworks and for the exams, so that you have an idea of what to expect, especially for the exams, but also to make sure that you're maximizing your points possible for the course. So remember that from the syllabus, if you look on, just referring to it here myself, if you look on page 2 of the syllabus, what you see is that the assignments count for 15%. Each of the 3 exams are accounting for 25%. For the assignments, you should, if you're spending enough time in this course, you should try to make these assignments, you should try to get 100% average on these assignments. Now, the reason why is because you are permitted to redo the assignments as many number of times as needed to get 100%. Now, if you're running out of time and the deadline is coming up, obviously you're not going to have enough time to do it multiple times. But if you are spacing out things and you're creating enough time, you should be able to do things multiple times and get that close to 100%. Okay, so let's actually start to look at these things here. So what you'll see is that I'm going into the Google Classroom. And in the Google Classroom, I'm just going to sign in. Just as you sign in. Okay. So let's look at us. Okay. So what you see here, again, just to review for you, that what you see on the side is the course organized into its 3 sections with the discussions, the homework assignments, and the exam. Let's start first with the discussion, just to give you an overview of what you should be doing, what you should be expecting. Okay, so for instance here we see reflection question number 1, opportunity cost. So this is covering something that comes from the material from the first chapter. And not that we're looking at what people are saying here, but that what you're seeing here is that I want you to comment on the nature of this article. Okay, so what you should be doing, here are the steps for how to complete this and to do what I'm expecting. I'm not expecting a word count. I'm not expecting that you have to hit key points, and if you don't talk about those key points, I'm going to mark your points down. What I'm looking for is some semblance that you've read the article and that you make some meaningful comments about it. Now, what does it mean to make a meaningful comment? It could be something like you finding that in this paragraph that, right, kind of highlighting where this kind of comes from in the book, right? Or meaningful comments would mean reading this article and applying it to your own situation in this case, or creating another scenario and trying to apply these same concepts. You need to show some engagement, right? And the engagement can take many forms. And the article, the response that you write should take anywhere from 2 to 3 paragraphs. That would mean, I don't know, I hate to say a word count because then you're going to just strive to get a word count. But I would be surprised if it took you less than 150. And I would think that more than, I don't know, 300 words would be more than you needed to do. It doesn't mean it's bad, but it would be going above and beyond, which isn't a bad thing, but it gives you, I think, a sense by me just reading out those numbers to you of what you should want. But I'm not counting words. I'm really not counting words. What I'm looking for, the key thing I'm looking for, is engagement with the article. Not that you summarized the article, but engagement. And again, engagement takes the form of you identifying where things in this article, how they apply specifically to what you had learned in the textbook or in that chapter. You taking this situation and applying it to your own situation. You taking this article and creating a scenario where this article could be applied to that scenario. Those are just 3 examples of how engagement could occur. It could take the engagement could take other forms. That's absolutely fine. And then what you're doing is you're typing that up. So then you're typing that up in the reflection question. On yours, it will show as answer, and so you'll click on that and then you'll post it. So that you see what I see. I then basically see something like this, right? So there's a lot of you who haven't not done it yet. But what you'll see here is that I'm reading some of these things here. Okay? Now, in the very beginning, first one, second one, you're not going to exactly know. It's expected that you might not know exactly what I want, right? And so if it's not showing, if you're not doing what I want, I will tell you, okay? I will absolutely tell you. And the expectation will be is that you will hear my comment, right? And that you'll make the changes for the further ones, okay? Then we've got the homework assignments. And you can see these homework assignments here. So what you would do for these homework assignments to do them is that you would click in to look at the form here, okay? And you'll need to be logged into your UH email. And you can see here that it does record your email address. That way I know that it's you. But also what it's going to be doing as well is that it's going to be I think only on this first one I didn't ask for name, but on the other ones it'll ask for the name. But then basically this, right, these are multiple choice questions. They can be looked up. You could watch the video. Oh, there's name. Okay, well, you can tell I made this homework assignment myself. Usually name wouldn't appear as the 4th question, but well, that's what it is here. But you get the idea here, right? Is that multiple choice questions are going to be important for the exam. The point of these homeworks is that you're doing them to do well. Now, what you can see here, right, is that I could, I don't know, do things like that. Now, what you'll see is that it'll show me what I got wrong, right? And in this case, right, I can see, for instance, for this one, again, I was just selecting random things. In this case here, I got it wrong. It's not letter A. So now I can go back and make changes, right? And I can make these, and I see a typo. I'm sorry, I have to type these things. It's the consequence of making this class free, so you'll have to accept my typos. I do know how to spell the. But the point is that you can now do this and keep redoing it until you get a perfect score. Okay? So please, please, please take advantage of that. I know it's going to require more time to do the homework assignments if you're continually trying to get as many points as possible. And I apologize, but I want you to go through that process because it's going to help you do better on the exams. Okay? Let's talk about the exams themselves then. So what you're going to see here is, at least on Google Classroom, I originally thought I could do it on Google Classroom, but the exams didn't really work out well on Google Classroom. So I had to put them in LaLima. So I left this here so that you know to go back to LaLima. Okay? And for each of these exams, I will be making a separate video to tell you kind of what to study for. But right now, I just want to go through the logistics and the administrative matters about how to get to the exam. So let's go to LaLima. And you'll see that I'm just logging in as I traditionally would do. And you would see over here on the left, tests and quizzes. And I'm going to view this as you would view it. And this is what you'll see right here. So I did some practice to make sure it was going to work. But here's the exam right here. You will see that you will have a 3-hour time limit to do the exam. You will see the due date and time right here. And you'll see that basically what you do is you do the exam, and you're going to be doing it in La Lima. If you've never done an exam in La Lima, just to give you an overview of how it looks, you'd say begin assessment. Well, I guess we're all seeing the first question together. Let's talk about that first question. If you're watching this video, you're going to get this question right now, I guess. Why do we study economics? Do we study economics because of scarcity? Because now you see here, we got the time remaining, so you got a nice time clock here showing you how much time you've got. Do we study economics because of scarcity? Because economists have convinced universities it is necessary, because of resources, or because of money? Right, and so this is just like standard kind of multiple choice questions. You would eliminate, and then you would finally select the best possible option. I try to select concepts. I try to make questions that reflect the homework assignments that you did. So it wouldn't be a horrible idea to have the homework assignments printed out and accessible to you to look at to help do the exam. And we would see that the correct answer is A, scarcity. And then you would just keep going on, next and next and next, and there will be, for each of the exams, 25 multiple choice questions, and there will be 5 essay or short answer questions where you have to type up the answer. When you're done with the exam, the score is recorded. I don't think you'll get the feedback right away because we'll wait till the last person finishes their exam for everyone to get scores. Just make sure you don't close this window. Make sure that you have a stable internet connection. If you have doubts about the stability of your internet connection, maybe you'll find it more useful to go to campus to do the exam. You'll see that the clock keeps running even as I take time. Once you open it up, you can't stop it. So you want to have that block of time to be able to do this. Okay, so that's kind of the primary limitation, is that once you open this up, I cannot pause it. I basically have to do it. If seeing this clock bothers you, I can just hide it, and then I can go back to showing it. That's however you work best. Okay. So that gives you an overview now of how to do the discussion postings, the logistics of how to do the exam, and the logistics of how to do the homework. I hope that helps for everyone. I'm going to make one further video that's going to talk specifically now about the exams, each of the exams themselves, and what you should be focused on.